Today I am standing in the heart of Lagos, Nigeria, my beloved country. Hello guys and welcome back again. And if you are new to this channel, you're highly welcome. So I posted a video about a 5-bedroom duplex inside Mega Mall Estate, and a lot of you guys want to see this engineer, the MD, the person that built this house. And today guys, your request is granted. Today's video we are going to be talking through exactly how much it costs to build a 5-bedroom duplex with the MD of Tola Contractor. I'm sure a lot of you guys are interested to see that. Grab your popcorn, relax and enjoy this video.
Good morning. My name is Mrs. Ayo Famola. I am the owner of this property. This property was built in 2015. That's already about 7.5 years. And from what you can see already, it's a very good build. You can see how it's still looking. In the 7.5 years that we've had the house, we've not had any major repair concern. Built in 2015 by Tola Contract. Got to know them from Port Harcourt. I wasn't here, so can you imagine being in Port Harcourt and building in Lagos? I wasn't here, so it was very important for me to have a construction company and a director that I could trust. Throughout the 1 year that the project took to build, I probably came here just about 4 times. I had that trust in them that they were going to deliver a good product, that they were not going to swindle me out of my money, that when I pay them for a milestone, that I will come back in another 3 months and meet that they have achieved that milestone. This is a 5-bedroom room with a separate BQ at the end. My suggestion to people watching is that you can trust a Tola Contractor to do your building. You can trust them to manage your money well. You can trust them to handle your construction end to end, because even the interface with the developer, he was handling it for me, and so that was easier for me. The interface with Lagos State Authority with the plan approval and things like that, he handled all of that for me, so end to end for me, and that was very important for me because I was not in Lagos. Bye.
We are here in Tola Contractors Company. This company has been existing for over 25 years. Let's go in to talk with the MD about cost of what it takes to build a 5-bedroom. Hello. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing? Good to see you. I'm fine. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this video with me. I appreciate it, because we've been wanting to film this video for a very long time now.
I think this is also useful to do. Also educate people and some information out there.
So I have a lot of questions that we're going to be asking. Today we'll be talking about cost of what it takes to build a 5-bedroom. We're also going to be concentrating on the Mega Mall. Some of you have seen the video on my YouTube channel here. I'm going to be using that as a case study. And I have here with me Engineer Dele. So we would like you to introduce yourself to us, a little bit how you started, how this whole Tola Construction Company came up. I hope my questions are not too much.
No problem.
Okay.
No problem. First of all, once again, thank you for having me. My name is Sula Gishe. I'm the managing director of Tola Contractors.
Okay.
Actually, Tola Contractors started out after my short period of working. We actually participated in the construction of the petrochemical plant Port Harcourt.
Really?
Yes, when it was starting. So I remember then as a youth corper wanting to get experience. I went there and it was challenging, but I did my best. It was in the process of that I got to have a very good relationship with my boss.
Okay.
He was a Frenchman. And after working with him for about 3 years, he was transferred to France. He actually recommended for me to be made head of the department as young as I was then.
Wow.
And that's how I became head of the department because of the way I work with him. So a couple of, maybe about a year or so after, he came back for the LNG project in Bonny Island. And as at that time, tell you speaking, I was low on cash. Because not much work. All I knew was just employment and all that.
Salary base.
And that was all. So one day I just saw one of my friends coming to see me and said that, mentioned his name, that he's around in the country and that he wanted to see me. So I said, okay, where's that? I said, Bonny. I said, where's Bonny? I didn't even know the way to. Took me there. And when I saw him, he said, I did it. I want to employ you. And he said, no, sir, I want to do contract. And he looked at me like a father would look at his son.
Yeah.
You want to do contract? I said, yes. He said, okay. And that's how one thing led to another. Started doing projects. I was exposed to a lot of construction. We did a lot over there quite a while. And after that, with what I saw and how it started, and I started to incorporate the company in 1997.
Oh, that's long.
Initially, we were just an enterprise, but now we decided to incorporate the company that would take on bigger projects. And we've been able to service people in different industries. We have individuals, corporate organizations, institutions, education institutions, religious institutions, hospitals, different people we do for. We've handled over 100 projects.
Wow.
We lost count of that.
That's a lot.
And we have clients, both local and in diaspora, that have consulted us to do the project projects. And one key thing that stood us out is our ability to bring the dreams of people to pass. Talking about myself as an MD, I studied civil engineering.
Oh, okay.
So it's not as if I'm in field outside what I learned, and I'm specialized in structures.
Okay.
Because civil engineering has different branches.
Yes.
So I'm actually specialized in structures.
Wow.
Which actually kind of gives me an advantage in what I do. There's a know-how there. I'm a member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers.
Okay.
I'm also a registered engineer with the Council for Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, otherwise known as COREN. So I'm certified. What has helped me in handling the projects to make sure that the clients get what they want.
Yes.
Because that's what's key for us.
But honestly, I'm amazed with the buildings I've seen that your company has built.
So, like I said, we handle different types of projects. Whether it's in upland or it's in swamp, as long as it's a building,
okay,
you can talk to talk.
So how long have you been building?
We got incorporated in 1997, but the company actually started in 1994.
Oh, okay. If we have clients that want to build, are you ready to like travel? There's some states that you really don't travel.
Okay. So first of all, we've worked in 8 states of Nigeria.
Okay.
We've worked in Rivers State. We've worked in Oyo State. Worked in Lagos.
Okay.
We've worked in FCT, as I said.
Back to the cost of what it takes to build.
Talking about building, I'll give you an overview of what we do.
Okay.
Like you've met some of our clients and they've told you we do a lot of end-to-end stuff. So first of all, when somebody wants to build, the first thing is we need a brief. Now the brief contains what the person has in mind. How many rooms are you looking at? What kind of structure are you looking at? And I will be talking this on the fact that we have both residential, we have corporate plans. So there are different things, specs required. So when that brief comes to us, we take that brief. Two things are key for us from that brief. One, we need to do soil investigation or site investigation. We need to see the site, look at what prevails there. Then also we're going to do a design. Normally we start with a conceptual design. Conceptual design is that will give you first look of what it's like. The client makes his comments, input, I'm okay with this, or can this be adjusted, can I have it like this? So we go through that iteration process. At the end of the day, we arrive at the final drawing. We now start what we call the working drawing. Working drawings has both the architectural, structural, mechanical, and the electrical. And we are advantaged in that we have a team, right, that's able to handle all this. We have architects, mechanical and electrical engineers. Like I said, I'm a structural engineer. We also have structural engineers who work with me as well. So we're able to come up with that working drawing. Based on that working drawing now, clients will now go for approval. Because in the country, Nigeria, to build in any state, you need to have approval.
Okay.
In some cases, we assist in getting the approval done, where we know the relevant authorities.
Okay.
We assist in getting the approval done. So you have to do the approval with the government, local government, and all the regulatory boards. So after the approval is done, we also do what we call the bill of quantity. That's going to specify for you what's going to cost stage by stage, milestone 1 to whatever. So we'll do that, give you the cost of doing that building. Now, all these activities I've mentioned are what we call the pre-construction activity. You see that we've not really broken ground, construction hasn't started. So these are more or less pre-construction activities. And they're essential to planning the project so you know what you're getting. So that's done. Then the next thing will go into the construction proper. So we have, first thing you do is you have your site cleared. You get to a site, it could be bushy, it could be a forest, it could be anything. I mean, like the project we commissioned, it's an institution just last year in December in Akwa Ibom State. If you had gotten there, it was about 3 hectares of land. It was a bush, but we got in there, clear the place. So first thing you do is you have to do your site clearing. You clear the site. Then you put up your site facility. To work in any environment, there are things you need. You need a store, you need source of water, security, where you're going to keep your things and all that. Those are what we call site facilities. So you set that up. No matter how small the site is, you need to have that set up.
If it's in an estate.
For example, in the estates, most estates have their regulations. They allow you to build your site office and your store. They will give you their specs, which you have to abide by, such as you can't drill a borehole in most of the estates that I know. Some allow, some don't allow. So where they don't allow, you have to source your water from outside, right? So you have those restrictions. But outside estates, in other environments where we're able to, like I said, we do our borehole, do all the things we need to do the site facilities and all that. So it's not a one size fits all. It depends on the site. You have to look at the site conditions and see what's feasible in that environment. So you put all your site facilities and then we set out the structure. That requires you to put that structure on the site plan as it is and set it out. So you set out the structure. Once you do this, you are now getting ready to get into digging the ground. We want to break the ground now. The first thing is what we call the substructure, which has to do with your foundation. So we have different types of foundations.
Okay.
We have pad foundation, raft foundation, pile foundation. And the same way I've mentioned them, from the pad to the raft to the pile, shows you the progression from very good soil to the worst of soil. Where the soil is very good, right, it's going to be a pad foundation. Where your bearing capacity, which is obtained from the soil test will give you the bearing capacity, will give you the water level, and other information about that soil, the compressibility, the settlement, and all these are factors that are important in determining what kind of foundation you're going to put in place. So where you have a solid soil structure, you can do your pad foundation. Where the bearing capacity is high, you're having something like 100 to 150 kilograms per meter squared, no problem, you can do your pad. But where the soil is giving us values that are pretty low, like in most areas in the Lekki-Ajah axis, we have to go for a raft foundation. However, there are cases whereby, and I'll use an example to make this point, there are cases whereby even though a raft would have passed, you may end up doing a pile. Why? So we did a project in 2 houses in a particular estate here. When I got to the estate, I saw some of the houses were literally sinking. So I engaged one of my friends who I met there, and I asked him questions, and he's an architect, and he was open. I said, "Did you what kind?" He said, "He did a raft." I said, "Are you sure you did a raft?" And he said, "Yes, he did," and explained to me. So it prompted me to ask for a soil test, right? And this is an essay that has been in existence for a long time. And when the soil test result came out, we discovered that the soil is highly compressible. It's like a field. So over time, his house, if I stand up, his house would get to, when he did, he said it was somewhere around my chest. By the time I went to visit him, the house was below my knee. It was that serious.
It was sinking.
It was sinking.
So how do you manage to be sure that these are the,
That's how you do the soil test. So like I said, we have to do a soil test there, and we have to do pile foundation.
So with that pile foundation, that cannot.
That can't, because the pile is driven to a solid layer of soil deep down below the ground. That's the essence of a pile. So we have to do, even though it costs more money, but you see, I like advising people that cost is relative.
Yes.
Something may cost you cheap now, but the long-term cost is going to cost you a lot more money. Like I told you, this friend of mine that I met, you can imagine the sleepless nights he's having with his house sinking into the ground. So it's better to do it right from the word go.
Yes.
So, and that's why the foundation is important. So you have these basic 3 foundations. You have the pad, the raft, as well as the pile foundation. So after we've done the foundation works, this is just a general overview. We'll be more specific when we go to the building you're talking about. We have what we call the superstructure. Now that's the part you can see above the ground. That's why it's called the superstructure. So we have the superstructure, which comprises of your block, walls, your lintels, columns, your beams, your slabs. So as many floors as you have. 2, 3, whatever number of floors. Till you get to the point where you talk about the roof. All that to the roof is what you call the superstructure.
So can you give us a basic cost of what it takes to have a foundation?
In that particular building, which the land is about 400 square meters, while the building is sitting on about 150 square meters. So we had about 21 piles in that building.
Wow.
Yes, we have 21 piles, 450 diameter, 21 piles.
Although I don't really have much idea how the 21 piles came about, but I'm just hearing the 21, and I'm like, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's as a result of the design. So we have that all driven to 12 meters and all that reinforced, 450 diameter. After doing the piles, we had the pile caps, the ground beams, and then the raft slab. So in rough estimates, looking at that, as at that time when we did it, it should be looking at that to be around something between 11-12 million.
Wow.
Yes.
For just that foundation.
Yes. And also to add, the level of that land was very much below the road.
And also, Mega Mall is a very big estate. Like, it's a luxury estate.
That particular one, which is very close to the water, and it was very much lower than the. In fact, by the time we did it, if I stand, the feeling will almost get to my shoulders.
That will cost a lot.
Yeah. So that's part of. So when we talk about cost of foundation, there are a lot of variables. So just to let you know, it depends on what you need. But to give an idea, that's why I said roughly something about that, 11-12 million thereabouts. For something that costs you that. But you can't compare that with the good sleep you have that, yes.
Honestly, yes.
you're in a comfortable house.
A lot of people want quality. A lot of people still want to manage their costs because they are on a budget. So how do you deal with clients that are on a budget and maybe they want to pay on installments while building a house? Do you do such, like, can you manage clients like that?
Most of our individual clients, I would say 99% of them. I think this is only one client who've come that just release the whole money upfront. So 99% of our clients, normally when we run the bill of quantities, we'll sit down. You will meet some of our clients and you will see what they'll tell you. I like sitting down with them, right?
So what if they're in diaspora? You just make calls and talk to them?
Sure. Like the house, the twin duplex. That twin duplex. He is a fifth in line or fourth in line of referees. So as from the first person, somebody else referred him to the second person. So it's the fourth, I think it's the fourth in line.
Okay.
Right. And when his friend told him that, look, you want to talk to taller contractors. And he came to us. We've never met, never seen me, sent all the money.
Wow.
And as we're building, we're giving him feedback, we're giving him updates, pictures, this is what we're doing and all that. He only came when the house was ready, collected the keys, stayed in the house for 2 weeks. It was so happy.
Honestly, I have gotten numbers of calls of diaspora clients that want to build, but they are so scared of building, because you heard a lot of things about Nigerian engineers, so they are so scared. And most times I try talking to them, but at the same time you still need to convince them to make them feel comfortable in working with the engineers.
I understand the problem, and like I said, this particular client, when he came, he told me he had a lot of stories. But I usually allow people to, in dealing with me and my company, I allow them to discover for themselves.
Yeah.
So he was surprised when he came. It wasn't a dream. He came, he stayed in the house. He has referred me to another person.
Because you're good.
so that's it.
Even if you did not say it, with what I've seen, you're good. People to build a Royal Garden Estate, those mega mall, those are hot cake, those are big men.
well.
Those are big men. So honored to be here, like doing this video, honestly.
Because some of the people want to be smaller and we run away.
Yes.
We attend to everybody.
Yes.
Those was just some we showed you. So we try to make everybody's dream possible.
Okay.
So we'll sit with them, we'll discuss with you. If you have a budget, we'll do what's best within that budget.
So let's continue with the cost of what it takes to build.
So now that we'll finish the foundation, being specific to, like I said, we have several floors, but depends. Like this one we're talking about, just a building with one, where you have block walls, linters, the slab, the beams, and all that. Before you talk about the roof, all this with the roof, you will be talking of something in the neighborhood of for each floor, right? I'm still using the figures we used then. Each floor with the block work and all that, with the linters.
You have the quotes for there?
Yeah, sure. We built it now, so I know. So
I like the fact you came prepared. You came with to give us hot.
so each floor, if you're looking at the block works, linters, and other per floor, roughly 3 to 4 million will do that. Then your slab. Now, when I talk about the slab and the beams, just like I told you about the foundation, I've had cases of people who have come to our project. I remember one project we're handling, the client next door had to carry his engineer to come to our site. I said, see, correct work here. Now, we don't, no cutting corners. So we do it as it is in the book. 6 inches, 150 mm, that's what it is. 175 mm, that's what it is. 200 mm, that's what it is.
So if a client has a budget, and he still want this kind of particulars, and that just like me in real estate, if a client say, okay, you want to buy a land in Chevron, you're saying a 450 square meter, and then you're calling 20 million, you cannot get 20 million in Chevron, and I will tell you that you cannot. So in that case, whereby a client has a picture of what he wants to build, and he's saying this is his budget, how do you advise this client? Like, what can you tell to, like, how do you manage this client?
So there are different things you can do. One, you can scale.
Okay.
We have a project we're doing for a particular client, a young upcoming couple, and they came. And we looked at it. He came with a design. And when I saw the design, I said, well, I do hope you have the money to do it. He said, what do I mean? I said, this was it. He said, no, that's not what he wants. He doesn't have that kind of money. So we had to work with him.
Okay.
I said, what do you, is this? But I want something very good.
Very good.
So we had to scale it down. Quality stayed the same, but scale it down. And it's almost finishing his house. Beautiful, well done, portable, his dream is achieved. So one is to scale down. Secondly, you could look at, there are some things you can't tamper with. Structure, the strength, no compromise on that. But you can make some adjustments in finishes where you would have used something that would have cost, take for example, you want to go and touch granite, and the granite is going to be costing you 25,000-30,000 per square meter or something like that. You say, okay, well, there are also tiles that are beautiful, and no, not that the house is going to be ugly, but it's going to spend you're going to spend probably about 6, 7, 8,000 for that. So those advices we give, we counsel people. So that's why I said we sit down. That's why I do my work. We sit down with the clients, we dialogue. Okay. And like they also say, it's good to cut your code according to your material.
Yes, sir.
Not according to your size, but according to the material.
Yes, so according to your material, not size.
Correct. So I've told you what each floor will be roughly, and then a slab of that. And that slab we had huge cantilevers because the size we needed to maintain our setbacks on the ground. So we had huge cantilevers. So that will cost probably about 8 million for that kind of slab. Reinforcement, form work, everything.
Like the slab is from the foundation.
No, that's what in the local parlance, the decking. That's what you look about. Correct in the slab.
Okay.
So with the form wall, with the concrete, with the reinforcement, with the embedded services, because you have services embedded. Okay. Right. Your M&E services are embedded. Okay. And all that. A rough figure you could budget in that neighborhood
of
like 8 million.
8 million. Okay. So let's move on.
So we go on to the roof.
Okay.
So once you finish that, like I said, that's just a one.
Do they have different type of roof kind of? I know they do parapet and then they put the roof. What's the difference between, when you take the roof too high or it's on a normal level? Is there a need for you to make a roof that too high?
Codes and guides in different estates come to play.
Okay.
The estates where they will tell you the maximum height from ground to the apex of your roof, they'll give it to you. So no matter what you do, you can't go beyond that. Where you're outside and you are building in open environment where you have no restrictions, right? You can build your roof as high as you want.
Because I see some houses, the roofs are very high, and then why some are just more. I'm just curious to know if it's preventing the wind, coming. I don't know.
No, it's not preventing the wind. It's a case of some say, well, I want it to be the slope to be so sharp. Why? For example, when rain is falling, the water is going out very easy. I don't want it to retain any water. I don't want the water pace on the roof to be slow. I want it to drain very, very fast. Fine, no problem. But that doesn't mean the other ones that the roof pitch is not as high as that, they are leaking. Doesn't mean. If the job is well done, you don't have any problem. So that's just it's a case of preference. And then different architects have different style of design.
I was thinking
some don't even want the roof to be seen, like in most modern buildings now. You don't want even the roof, and it's very shallow.
So when we talk about the slab, like the block work and all that, I've seen cases where a house is being built and then we are seeing cracks on the walls. So I'm also curious to know why cracks on the walls.
Different types of cracks.
Okay.
We have non-structural cracks and we have structural cracks.
Okay.
So the structural crack is what number one, we should give you concern. That's a crack that goes beyond the facade of the render or the plastering, gets into the wall, gets into the structural elements, such as the beams or columns. That is a sign of structural failure. We also have non-structural cracks, which are just mere cosmetic. So take, for example, in our environment here, the water is very saline. That is, it has a lot of salt content. And salt makes cement to dry very, very fast. So if you are plastering, you're rendering, and you don't take note of this, you have a situation whereby that plastering dries very fast and leaves what we call hairline cracks all over the place, and they are very common around. So that may be some of the things you are seeing. That's why you see some people resorting to screening the building after that to try and deal with that. But that could have been dealt with if it was well managed during the rendering period. But for the structural cracks,
how do you manage that for the structural cracks? Is there anything that can be corrected?
For the structural cracks?
Yes.
That's what I'm coming to that. So for the structural cracks, which I said is one that is food for thought. I mean, it's a sign of there's a problem. It depends on the type. So I'll give you an example. I was in one of my clients, he bought a house. It was in Canada. He bought a house in Nigeria, in Abuja to be precise, and he asked me to go and look at the house for him, that I wanted to finish it. So I traveled and went to look at it. We were on the, actually when I entered the building, I looked at the under deck, the slab, I was like, something's wrong here. We climbed up. One of the members of the team was walking. All of a sudden, I told everybody, please, can you stand still? And I said, can you jump up? I told him to jump up. And he jumped up. We were like on a springboard. And me, I said, please, can we all go down? You could see cracks all over the building. And I called the client and I said, sir, pull it down. I'm not joking. I said, pull it down.
House worth millions of nairas.
I'm not joking, Grace. I told him, pull it down. For me to tell you, pull it down, that will tell you how bad it was.
It can fall any day.
Yes, I said, pull it down. However, there are some cases, depending on how it is, that can still be remedied, depending on what the problem is. But that will require some investigation and checking up to know what is the problem.
Okay.
And then, but like I said, it depends on what it is. But a structural crack, you don't leave that lying low. It needs to be treated immediately. Now, roofs, like I said, are of different types. You could do it with a wood carcass, with a steel carcass. You also have wood done with aluminium or done with tone-coated tires, any of those two. Now, in that particular structure, it was done with wood, right? And then we used tone-coated tires for the roof structure. Now, doing that for the size of that building, and part of that roof, actually, we also had a roof slab where we accommodated the tank, the water tank, over there. So doing that roof structure, 4-5 million, that covered the roof.
So to crown it all, about from foundation to roofing level, and all that. So how much can you say that one should have, to have that kind of structure of a 5-bedroom duplex?
Okay, so in present day,
let's say present and then. Let's give 2 quotes.
As at then, right? I mean, this is about 20.
You can just, roughly, just say something,
I'll give it a range. A range. You should be budgeting between, depending on what you've got, because now smart features coming to the house, you should budget between 35 to 50 broad range.
We're talking about foundation to roofing.
Yes, we omitted the preliminaries, unless you want to leave that out. Okay. That's the fencing of the place, sewage system.
Is it included in this price you just called, in 35 million?
Yes.
With the fencing, sewage and all that?
The fencing, sewage, the sand filling of the sites.
Okay.
Right. You should be budgeting between 35 to give a bandwidth, 35 to 45, thereabouts.
So what can you say about sewage system? Do we have different type of sewage system? Because there's this house that I checked, and the engineer was telling me that he doesn't like the kind of sewage system that they did, that is an old pattern. And I don't really know what he means by an old pattern. I really don't know if there are different stages of sewage system type and all that, and what particular type do you do for your clients?
So it depends on where you are. In the swampy environment, right, you have a different type of sewage construction as to when you are in the upland, dry land locations, like mainland Lagos, the interlands and all that. It's a different type of thing you do. So you have, for example, in the Lekki Ajaxes, the sewage tanks are done with reinforced concrete, complete concrete. Why? The water table is very high. So you don't want the ingress of external water from the soil into the septic tank, because once that happens, I mean, you'll almost be draining almost every day.
Yeah.
So that's why you see people fill the compounds pretty high, so you can get some height above the water table. Then the sewage tanks, sewage pits are drained out at a higher level so that the water goes out. Normally in the rainy season, the water table is going to rise pretty high. Right. So unlike in the dry lands where we use a honeycomb method using blocks, right?
What is a honeycomb method?
Okay. You know when you take
I'm just carrying down for the first
no problem.
time.
When you take for example your block, it's hollow.
Okay.
So when you turn the block, right, you're going to see the hole. So when you lay the block in that sideways fashion, you're going to see something like how honeycombs are with holes on them. Yeah. So you have that. So it allows the water to pass through those honeycomb blocks percolate into the soil. Usually, in those cases, the water table is very, very low. So water cannot come in. Water can come. Rather, the water is going out. Right. So that's the situation. So in dry lands, you can use normally we use reinforced bays with columns tying the structure. That's the tank structure, and then we use block work as infills.
Okay.
Right. That is for being in the dry lands.
Okay.
But in the Lekki Ajax this year, we use reinforced tanks.
So what do you use for your clients?
It's depending on where you are. So in this
Lekki Aja,
it's the reinforced concrete that we use.
okay. So
Reinforced
what if
concrete.
a client is requesting for a particular type of her choice or his choice of something? How do you deal with such clients?
You have to explain to the person. It's not not practicable.
Okay.
Because if you want to do the dry land type of sewage system here, it's going to collapse in a short time.
Because what I'm saying is, apart from the sewage system, even building, I've seen when the engineer wants the anteroom to have a visitor's toilet there. So when visitor comes in and to use the toilet, they won't just open the door from the living room and then you're seeing the toilet. But instead, you're seeing that anteroom and then you walk through where the toilet is. But this client is insisting that she wants visitor's toilet. When you're in the living room, we're all seated, you'll be seeing somebody opening the toilet and going there. So, and the engineer, tried to tell the client that this is not best part. This is not, giving the client the best. So, and the client refused. It didn't cause argument. You're not doing what I want you to do. So, how do you manage such clients when you know that you don't want people to see that this is your work? This is what you did, and not knowing that this is what the client wanted, and this is not your, as in, if it's you with your own choice, you won't. How do you manage such clients?
Beautiful question.
I hope my question is
not. No.
It's just the experience. Like I've
question.
seen a lot of clients building in Lagos.
Like I said, we try our best to explain to people the pros and the cons of what we do.
Okay.
I've seen clients who have some demands. That's what we talk about, a brief. Now, there are some things that are issue of taste. There are some issues that are issue of quality. Somebody says, I like color red. Another person says, I like color blue. That's an issue of taste. But there are things that you can't compromise on. So a client comes to me and says, I need this reinforcement changed from Y12 to Y10. I'll say, sorry, that's a no. It's not possible. We can't do that. If the client insists, I will gently back out.
Wow.
I'm not joking. And I backed out of a couple of projects like that.
Wow.
That's an issue I can't compromise on. However, we've had clients who have come to make some peculiar demands. So we had a client, for example, and I know where she saw that. It's very common in the US. Came and said, I would like to have from the master bedroom, I want to walk into my shower. After my shower, before I get into the closet. I said, no, it's the closet first before the shower. She said, no, that's how she wants it. That's an issue of taste. After explaining over and over, and the person said, that's what I want. Now, does it compromise my structure in terms of strength? No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It's an issue of taste. Based on that, we defaulted to her, allowed her to have what she wanted to do.
Okay.
But we didn't, we gave her what she wanted.
Okay.
Because you need to understand, your work is to make the client happy.
Okay.
While making the client happy, do not compromise the structure. That's where we'll draw the line. Where it's going to compromise the structure, I will draw the line. But if the client, that's what I want, it's her choice or his choice. It's not my baby, it's her baby.
So you're saying cost of what it takes to build a 5-bedroom in what year was that?
2021.
2021.
As at then, it was about 35 then.
35 million
Then,
from
but
foundation
if you want to,
roof.
Yeah, but if you want to make
So
a projection
now, how much can we look at? Because this is 2023.
Well,
so let's
a building of that nature now, prices have literally doubled for anyone who is. So I would say prepare your mind for something in the neighborhood of about 50 now.
Wow, for 2023, that's a lot. What level is that? No fittings, no lighting.
That's including the fencing, the filling, the sewage system, the pile foundation, the raft foundation, the block work, the slab, the roof, the parapet, everything up to that. No finishing.
And if you have a client, you can actually, put it on the stages so that the client can.
We normally do that.
Pay. So what kind of how do you put your stages?
It depends on the client.
Okay.
Like I said, we sit down with the clients.
Okay.
Everybody's pocket is not the same.
Yes, I understand.
Somebody says, I think I want to pay this in 2-3 installments. We say no problem. Somebody says I want to pay it twice. Look, we'll structure it according to. So that's just.
You guys have heard it all. This is to let you know that if you're looking to build a 5-bedroom duplex, currently in Lagos, you should be budgeting roughly 50 to 40 something million
to roof.
to roof, from foundation to roofing level. Honestly, sir, I really appreciate you making this video with me.
No, but you're welcome.
You know, it's been a long...
I do hope it was
So
profitable.
we're still going to talk about cost of what it took to finish the house. So you guys should stay tuned to the video. And if you are looking to build, if you are looking to have this beautiful structure, like he has said, he has built a lot, and you guys can see on your screen. So if you're looking to build, if you're looking to for residents, build for commercial, build for yourself and your beautiful family, this is where you should call. Tola Contractors got you guys covered. Always, like I said, you guys should stay tuned to those videos, and do not forget to like this video if you enjoy watching to this point. Subscribe to the channel, give us a call if you're interested to build. Wait to hear from you.
Yeah, correct.
So we'll see you guys on our next video. Until next time.
Bye. Thank you.